Hello, Joey.
Hello, Mark.
Welcome to episode 93.
We're on episode 93. We're looking at the numbers of May.
Yeah, don't apologize. It's a giggly episode.
Yeah.
We have some laughs in this episode.
This is an episode.
Yeah. There's impersonations. We got Robert De Niro. We got Ramsey. We got Judge Judy, Donald Trump, the whole plot. A little Macho Man joins us in certain parts. If you want to know about the main market numbers, you've come to the right place. We get into it.
Love it.
Enjoy.
Welcome to the Toronto Livings Podcast, a conversation about all things Toronto with a focus on real estate, the culture, and of course, the food.
I'm Mark Savell.
And I'm Joey Virgilio.
And we're realtors with Sage Real Estate working together as a Toronto Livings team with a focus on helping you buy better, sell higher, and of course, having a little bit of fun along the way. Hello, Joey.
Hello, Mark.
Happy episode 93.
Episode 93. Do you know how close we are?
Yeah, 7 episodes.
7 episodes away. We've almost hit 100.
Ah, man, missed opportunity. This could have been the Doug Gilmore episode. Number 93.
Oh, yeah.
And we could have drank milk.
I mean, it's not too late. We haven't put it up yet.
Let's get the jerseys. We are fresh into the month of June, and we're going to do a quick recap on the month that was. Hockey's still on, except the Leafs aren't in it.
Yeah.
But
so no jerseys or mustaches here today.
Sadly, RIP mustaches. Yeah. I was getting really comfortable with mine.
Actually, it was also same here. I saw that picture of myself with the pineapple, and I was like, yeah, you stud.
You stud, yeah. That seemed to be a very common comment on the My wife is like, okay, sorry the Leafs lost, but please go shave.
100%, yeah. How quickly that turned.
That night. I was at Game 7.
That's right.
It's terrible.
You were there.
Terrible.
Yeah.
On the way home, I was trying to find sharp things to get the mustache off.
Plucking pieces of it out.
Bad. I digress. Let's, first of all, JP episode.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Amazing. And it's so funny because he was he doesn't do podcasts very often.
Can you believe it? So he was a natural to me.
100%.
Yeah. JP, I think it's time we start doing podcasts, buddy.
Get a third seat. That's going to be permanent soon enough.
Oh, yeah. We'll have like his JP hat on. No, he was great. Thanks for coming out, JP. If you missed that episode, it was episode 92.
Yep.
And we kind of peeled back the curtain to all things marketing with Sage and kind of how he runs the office. I enjoyed it. It's the third most popular.
Watch so far?
Yeah.
Love it.
Those JP blue eyes, man. Wins you every time, I tell you. Shall we, as we always do?
Oh, yes.
Joey. Oh, you want to ask me?
I need to ask you first.
Oh, ask me. Go ask me. What do you want to ask me, Joey?
How was your week? And where did you eat this week?
Well, Joey, some of you may know this, some of you may not, but you're all going to find out now. It was Adriana S's, the beloved wife of me, his birthday. And we were, so, I'm a big fan of Chef Rob Rossi's restaurants. I've been to all of them. He's got a new one opening up called San Marco. Okay. So, you throw my name in anything. And the Eagles we got to try it. And I was desperately trying to get us in for a rezo. And I could have got one. And she's like, actually, I love Giulietta on College.
Okay.
Can we just do Giulietta? I'm like, absolutely. Because that is truly, it's got to be top 3 restaurants in the city. For me, it's very close to number 1. Yeah. I spoke about it in previous episodes. I think last year we did the same thing. Our anniversary dinner, we did it there.
It's a trend here.
It's a spot, man. It's so good. And it's not, it's pricey. No doubt about it. It's more of a pricier option.
It's a fine dining place.
Fine dining, but the value level on this, you can't compete. That's what it's like. Whenever I'm there, I'm like, yeah, I paid a bit.
Set menu?
No. No.
Or can you do a set menu?
No.
No set menu. Period. Okay.
Giulietta does not do set menus.
Squash that. Right
But chef's table in the back is the way to do it.
Love it.
You sit at the bar. The guys there, honestly, I think they're friendlier than ever. They were so chilling. We had some good talks. He was giving some ice cream places, some fresh pasta places. They were giving me kind of the lowdown on how they prepare their pork chops. I regret not getting the pork chop. I did the pasta, but there must have been at least... Okay, we went there 8:30 on a Sunday night. We stayed till 10:30. The restaurant was still slammed.
Oh, really? Yeah.
At 10:30, and I must have counted, 30 pork chops that went out. They're called pork chops, but it was more of a roast. It was like a nice big piece of pork slice. Oh.
There's also something that does something to your brain when you explain how it's prepared. your brain just gets so wired and dialed into
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, that's cool. So the experience of sitting at the chef's table brings that, I guess, as a piece of the puzzle. They speak to you about what they're preparing for you.
No, it's not like a set thing. So it's not like one of those corny places where it's like, tonight you're going to eat farm to table. Da, da, da. It's not like that. They're just doing their thing. Like, yo, if you have a question, holler at us. We're happy to help.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, how long did you sous vide this for? They're like, 3 hours. I'm talking about their knife sets and like,
it's a thing that you have specifically with knife sets.
And we're just going back and forth, and it was great. I highly suggest. So they do change up their pasta quite often. It's different every time we've been. There's been a different offerings. But the octopus. Are you a big octopus guy?
Oh yeah,
dude.
Octopus is
one of the best in the city.
Okay.
I know a lot of people generally say Bar Isabel. Not knocking it. Probably number 2. But Giulietta, number 1.
Okay. I gotta put that to the test.
The green verde sauce. It's like literally. Oh, dude. It just. I'm getting hungry just talking about it.
I have not eaten today yet, so this is like really hitting.
Do it. Do the chef's table. Sundays are a great time to go because, I mean, they were still slammed and really busy, but a little bit more breathing room and you can have kind of that slight conversation. They also, which is like super unique, have a soft serve ice cream machine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
And the flavor was limoncello.
Okay.
So the traditional shot that Southerners have after a meal. It didn't taste like alcohol at all, though. It was a nice citrusy Sicilian lemon.
Refreshing.
Yeah, very refreshing.
Like a palate cleanser almost.
Yeah, and I was like, I want to try it because it sounds unique, but I don't want to taste like that alcoholless ice cream. I don't know. They don't jive. Yeah. This wasn't that. This was like the perfect citrusy, lemony.
It sounds everything you're saying. I'm like drooling into this microphone right now.
We got to go.
Yeah, we should go.
972 College Street. It's next to our good friend, Lardo. John Paul Testa's place.
Yeah, nice.
Right next to Lardo. So you get drinks at Lardo. You can do dinner at Giulietta, and definitely recommend it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh, man. Yeah, I wasn't expecting... everything's hitting like extra right now. So
I got a little excited there. I think I kind of went further than I was expecting myself to go. But that's what Giulietta does to you. It's a beautiful place.
Love it. Amazing. So Giulietta.
Yeah.
College Street.
Yeah.
May I... well, hold on a second. First, I have to say this. The menu of this week was my house.
Ooh, a la Joey.
Yeah, Mr. Ramsey has entered my life in the last little bit.
It's not Gordon Ramsay.
No.
What's his first name?
Oh, you threw me when you said Gordon.
Gordon Ramsay. What is that?
Not Gordon Ramsay.
That's Chef
That's
Ramsay.
the chef.
Yeah, of course.
No, Ramsey.
Dave
Ramsey.
Dave.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey. He's back.
Which I love so much. Dave Ramsey just has a Southern accent. If anybody has not heard this guy before, he just has a Southern accent, and Mark's impression so left field.
Okay, this is my problem. I think Dave Ramsey, I talk like old man in Family Guy. Hey, Pete.
It's almost a whistle in your
the whistle. Dave Ramsey does not sound like the old weird guy in Family Guy, but he's got some great advice.
He does. So I've been on that grind last little bit. So Uber is deleted.
Love it.
The dishes is deleted.
Right on.
No more. I have not. Well, this last couple of weeks, I just have not eaten out. Period.
Yeah.
So I don't have somewhere where I've been, but I have to shout out a good friend of mine who started doing like a passion project kind of thing. Okay. I don't know when the next one's coming yet, but I used to work with him back in the studio days, and he had a pizza maker back in the day. So he used to invite people over for pizzas that he would make. These things were incredible. And over the years, from what I can tell, they've only gotten more and more perfected with his dough, his topping choices. Yeah. Everything is
love it,
next level. He randomly threw up a pizza pop-up in the last little bit.
Is this Zito's? Okay, they followed us on Instagram, and obviously, good friends with Zito's Marketplace. I'm like,
so that name ties in. Yeah,
what's going on here? Is this, my buddies are doing something behind my and then tell me more.
This is it was a pop up that got held. I messaged him. I missed the first one, and it looked incredible. Just like him, it's kind of like outside of a garage type of situation. He's out there just making them. A bunch of people showed up. The pizza looked ridiculous.
Okay,
the dough looked crispy, nice and thin. Kind of the toppings. Everything about it, just go to their Instagram page. It's Zito's with 2 T's.
We'll link it in the show notes.
We'll link it.
Yeah.
Zito's.pizza is the Instagram page. Check it out and keep an eye over the next pop-up because, oh my God.
Can we do a pop-up?
I don't know.
Can we do a Toronto Livings podcast pop-up?
Absolutely. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
We'll get some Zito's pizza.
Let's do this. This is writing itself. This is not planned. This is just, we're free-flowing ideas here.
So I got to shout him out because that's awesome. It was he loved doing it. He loved inviting people over. over to make pizzas with him at his place, and now it seems like he's doing it for real. So like, congrats, and I will absolutely be at the next one.
I love that warrior's journey. There's a lasagna place on Oakwood. I always mix up the name. I call it Porzingas. It's not called that. It's called like Porsche or something like that.
Porzingas.
I put my own spin on it. Anyways, they started in the garage during COVID, and they are
bumping. Yeah, I love it. I love that so much.
Zito's your next, buddy.
Awesome.
Let's make it happen.
Love it. Yeah. So that's my shout out this week.
I want to shout you out because you are looking slimmer, trimmer, and more focused.
Oh, thank you.
I mentioned that in the office. I'm like, Joey, something changed?
Yeah, Uber Eats.
And they're like, Dave Ramsey. I'm like, okay.
I've literally so part of my cutting back is so funny because it goes into my diet because I eat 2 of everything when I order.
This is a known Joey fact. Yeah.
So now I've just started not doing that, and I order 1 meal like a normal human being. And legitimately, yeah, Molly's even like, your face is slimmed out.
Yeah.
So I'm 100% losing weight currently and saving some
money.
bucks on
I love it, man. The Dave Ramsey master plans all coming together. Let's transition quickly, shall we?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Not much, because we're going to get into the whole market update. I don't want to spend too much time on news we can use, but there was a market announcement this week, and I feel like it almost went under the radar.
Yes, we should talk about this.
Yeah. So in case you haven't heard, because it wasn't, I don't know, maybe I've been spending a lot of time outside.
The sun is keeping people away from screens.
So maybe that was it. But I feel like it wasn't talked about much. Even the realtors on Instagram weren't doing their annoying
regular pump.
Yeah, like, did you hear? And everyone hears. But rates stayed unchanged.
So maybe that's the reason, is my thinking is. It's
Could
like
be.
there's not much of a new... I think the general consensus is that more cuts are still to come. We're not done yet, but they did pause. They did pause for this one.
Second pause in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the events. It's all about the events that are happening right now.
It is. Go on. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say it's the pause seemed like, I guess there was a certain report that came out, and I forget which report it was, but there was a certain report that GDP came out, and it was strong enough that they can say, okay, let's not drop anymore and let's pause.
And today the employment data was very favorable, which more of a reason not to say that the economy is going down. I don't necessarily believe all that. We see the pain in the streets ourselves firsthand, but it is what it is. And I think the big deciding factor now is Elon versus Trump.
Oh man!
Okay. Also, no duh. This was gonna happen.
Yeah, this is so funny. So I started reading through it, and there's Instagram posts that are like very colorful about how they display their argument back and forth, and I'm like, American politics is legitimately television. It's not politics. Yeah. It's entertainment.
It's WWE, man.
It's what it is. I'm seeing steel chairs in the next little bit.
Steel chairs are coming out 100%. Yeah. It's interesting times. It's going to be curious how all this falls out. I don't think it's going to I say this, watch me putting my foot in my mouth. I don't think it's going to impact Canada. Then we're going to get like 1,000% tariffs because Trump's mad.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, it's crazy.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. So lots of things are still happening. Yeah. Lots of things to watch right now.
Honestly, I'm here for the memes. Yeah. Whatever the fallout is, it is. But the memes are just A-class right now.
You have a go-to right now?
There was actually a WWE promo with him on one side, Elon on one side, and Trump on the other, and it was like smackdown. Alien versus Predator, another interesting one.
I think that's actually a pretty decent one.
Crazy, because they think Elon is an illegal alien in the country and Trump is a predator. So alien is it writes itself. Yeah, you don't even need AI for these jokes. It's just like boom. So that would be interesting to see.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we quickly break into the meat and potatoes?
Let's dive right into Joey's home cooked meat and potatoes.
That's right.
This is a giggly episode, eh?
Energy is here, man.
Love it.
All right, kick us off on this one.
Okay, so in these very hot months, traditionally hot months, I think context,
yeah.
So key. So May is the big month in Toronto real estate. That's the month where all the records are hit, where we kind of go bananas and we're like, can you believe how crazy things are? And not so much.
Not so much. Yeah.
Crazy in the other type of crazy, like what the heck's going on out there?
Yeah.
So I will say this, that the numbers this month, very high level, are an improvement for the year, but pretty dismal compared to last.
Yep.
So there's 2 ways you can kind of go about it. You want to compare it to May 2024. You're going to be a really good mood if you're a bear. Mm-hmm. If you're looking solely at year to date and trying to predict where things are going, there's a lot of bullish activity coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, we're seeing it. It's been a slow climb. But it's overall, you're kind of looking at it. We're still pretty not so great right
Pretty
now.
dismal. And that's what I think the key takeaway for the month is. We're going to get into the details of it all, but May was the best in a lot of ways of 2025, but just
still not that great.
Not measuring up to last year. And the big picture, the big thing to always keep in mind is we had much higher rates last year.
Yeah, that's another piece of it. There's still a lot of events happening. I'm still, the Black Swan thing that we bring up when we talk about this stuff. I think we're still in the midst of it right
100%.
now. And that's such a big piece of this puzzle. Although I will say phone calls have started to pick up. I don't know if that's a shimmer of light, but...
the last 2 weeks... Well, I feel like we say this every the last 2 weeks, but like it's the last 2 weeks have been busier than the previous 2 weeks, which was a good step up.
Yeah, and I think that goes to show like transactions are picking up. They have been. They're not great compared to what they have been in the past, but we can. I mean, our phones are ringing and we're seeing the numbers climb. So I think there's something there.
Yeah, I'm going to shout out Thomas B. I'm not going to say his last name, but Thomas B. We've been talking for quite some time because he sees the opportunity in the condo market, and we're waiting for the right one, and he's doing it exactly as we kind of talk about, is like monitor the data, make sure you have a good plan in place, and when the opportunity is there, boom, strike on it, because as we see, there is no new condo launches coming, so we're going to have a shortfall in the next couple years.
Yeah, that's a big thing that I guess some people are talking about for sure, but there was this big onslaught of investor condos. Investors backed away.
Yep.
Everybody started to build, but now that pre-con has been not selling,
And
no
paused.
builders are planning for
The next couple years.
Yeah. So we have this inventory, this onslaught of inventory now, but it might dry up in the next little bit.
And I think we're getting ahead of ourselves, but to just wrap this point up here is, yes, it's not looking great. There still is probably a little bit of pain to come in the condo world, but I think the pendulum, could be 2-3 years out, but...
There's a swing.
If you can hold, if you've got the ability to buy, I think this window's still waiting for you. So don't feel like you've left out.
Yeah.
But let's go big picture, GTA, what the heck happened in the month of May?
Let's continue.
Shall I?
Go for it.
All right,
go for
transactions. I'll take the first one we can.
Yeah.
Transactions are up. They're up for the year 2024. It's the highest we've had in transactions, 6,244. And here's the word you're going to hear a lot. However, it is 10% less than the same time last year.
Yeah.
So
we're not transacting as much right now. No, there's not a lot of people hopping around, and but we're on the incline. It's just a real slowing.
Yeah, and I mean, if I really want to be a cherry picker of stats and data here, I would say that February to April, we were down about 20% year over year. So that margin of being down is starting to close, and that's where I'm thinking, compared to last year, it's not good, but. There's glimmers.
Yeah.
Like the sun is shining.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Cloudy skies are opening.
I'll take it. New listings?
Yeah, new listings.
So new listings, May is pretty typical. It's seasonal. We're up in new listings. We're officially, 21,819 was the new listings that are that officially hit for May. That's 17% more than last year. So for buyers, it's good stuff.
Inventory
is
there,
kicking off.
Yeah.
And you're going to see in the next one, it's not being absorbed as quickly as we're hoping. So
Yeah. So new listings and active listings, those are actually, if you're on the seller side, numbers you don't want to see. Positive is bad. Negative is good if you're a seller. But if you're a buyer, the opposite is true. So in active listings, we saw another bump. There's over 30,000 listings on the market at the moment.
Yes.
Kind of bananas. It's an additional 3,500 more than last month and 42%, 9,200 more than the same time last year. Lots of mores.
Yeah, lots of mores, and also it's just not being absorbed as much as it's hitting right now. That's been the trend since, I think it's November 2024 was the last time we saw the decrease, and that the absorption was actually ahead of it, but it's been climbing, and inventory keeps piling since that point.
Yeah, and it makes sense in May, because if you are going to shoot your shot, you're shooting it in May.
Right.
That seems to be traditionally when the most buyers are out and looking, and so I feel like there is a lot of that traditional mentality coming into the month saying, okay, this is how it works, right?
Yeah.
It ain't working that way this month.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's in the phone calls, we've talked a lot offline. There's at least a handful of sellers I've spoken to saying, don't do it. There's enough inventory. Unless you're in dire needs of needing to sell, you should really try and hold off.
Totally. Yeah. It's if you don't need to, you don't have to.
Yeah.
And you can just hang tight for a little bit longer.
We can look, and I'm telling all these sellers, let's keep in touch every 3 months. Let's try and focus for the fall market, see if the conditions have improved, and if not, we might have to push it back to winter or spring of next year.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these calls are triggered by the mortgage rate renewals.
Right.
Because we are approaching the last group of people who locked in under super low rates.
Yes. That's another piece of the puzzle.
It is.
Yeah.
And if you're in that boat, let me just kind of riff on that for a second.
Yep.
Variable is probably the way you should be considering things. Because if you do have to sell, you're not locked in for the full 5 years. Well, you do agree to a term, but your penalties are a lot less than if you're in a fixed rate.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Although if you like peace of mind, don't feel ashamed to go the fixed route at this point.
Absolutely, but have a plan of holding for 5 years,
right? Or
sign a 3-year. There's call us. How about that? Yeah. we could chat it through a bit further, but these are the conversations we're having. Whereas 2-3 years ago, it's like, you want to sell? Give me a week. I'm busy. I'll call you back. Yeah. Now it's like, don't sell. I'll call you in 3 months. Hopefully it's better. If not, we're just going to keep kicking the can down the line.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Average prices.
Take us there.
Okay, average prices, because this is a win that I think we should celebrate.
Yep.
We are up for the year. We set a record price for the year. $1,121,000 is the average price of a home in GTA.
I'll take it.
But we're down. We're down 4% compared to the same time last year. So like we've been saying, for the year, this is really good. But compared to last year, not so good.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, my bet with Chris Mulder, I was super aggressive for no real reason. And I'm taking the win.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to revisit those numbers. We'll get Chris on at the end of the year again and kind of go over again. But yeah, there's relief for buyers out there. There's a lot of opportunities. As we said, 30,000 listings sitting, but a lot of people, I think, it's the vibes.
Yeah.
The confidence isn't there.
Yeah, 100%. Again, we're having major tariff wars and trade wars. We're still in it. We brought it up last month, but it's not over. So obviously we're still sitting in it.
I got something to say about tariffs. You save that thought to a little bit further on in this podcast, because I got a beef with Blog TO.
Okay.
Surprise. Days on market. Let's wrap it up with that. Yep. So if May is supposed to be the most active month of the year, one would say, there's a Latin phrase like "er tu um," but whatever. I'm not gonna flex my Latin on this episode. One would think that days on market should be significantly down. Opposite happened.
Yeah, I know.
What in the Dave Ramsey's going on? That snowball's going the wrong way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it picked up. It was a big jump. It's almost 40 days.
Yeah, close to 40. That's right. And that's like last March, we're down to 25. That's when we were like, okay, sellers market's coming back. Now we increased.
Yeah.
Definitely related to the amount of inventory on the market.
Yep.
That's the key takeaway here.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. The market is nuanced, I will say, but so condos are definitely probably driving that number quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Remember, this high level picture is all property types. It's not just one or another. So months of inventory. Can we bring that up?
Sure.
It is slowly creeping. It's been creeping for the last little while, but months of inventory also creeped up on a grand scale from 4.9 months of inventory, and it just crossed the line to 5 officially.
So heavy buyer, not heavy, but going into buyer's territory. Quite a bit.
100%. It's
like
there's a lot of inventory and it's not getting absorbed. I think that's just the overall crux of it right now.
Yeah, and stay tuned because Joy will break it down for each segment. But big picture, just note that things are definitely more in a buyer's market than they are in a seller's.
Yep, absolutely.
And also keep in mind that real estate's very neighborhood centric. So doesn't mean every neighborhood's like that, but for the most part, that's what you're here to expect.
100%.
Yeah. Let's get into transactions, or sales as the media calls them, because that was also an interesting section to kind of investigate. So all segments saw a month-over-month increase in sales. That's May. That's good, right?
Yeah.
And we've been better than every month prior, which is kind of what we're seeing. However, condos saw the steepest slowdown year over year, down 25%.
Yeah. They're not being bought up right now. They're not. For just to reiterate that I did last month is condos on a major scale. They trade. Usually, there's about 1,500 transactions with condos specifically on a regular basis. Right now, this whole year, it's been sub 1,000. So this has been the highest of the year. It's been 973 transactions for the month. But, in January, we were talking 747, 830 for February. So we're well below what a typical
seasonal years are.
Yeah.
But I got to be like the voice of positivity here. Positive Mark is on this episode. It is increasing from the 747s we saw in January. Right. So condos was the biggest market that is causing a lot of this pull down anchor effect. So it is somewhat refreshing. I think the messaging, the Thomas B effect of like, hey, there's opportunities, let's jump into it, is starting to happen.
Yeah.
It's starting to happen.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, this year has been really like a painfully slow incline.
Yeah.
As much as as compared to other years.
For sellers.
Sorry.
For sellers.
For sellers.
No, and that's a key element. I did a deal. Like, I sold a condo in May 2025 for $407,000. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Like, it was, I was writing it like, I've not put in a 4 in my offer in like a decade.
Yeah.
There is tremendous opportunities out there. You can buy a condo in a very good part of Toronto, sub 500,000. Now, there wasn't parking, there wasn't locker, it was on the smaller side, but it worked for these clients really well.
Yeah.
And so these opportunities are there, and it's going to rent quite favorably, and they're going to have hopefully a really good addition to their portfolio.
A million percent. When I would get phone calls a year ago or 2 years ago, it was very much like, if you said the number, your budget was in and around 4 to me, it was like, you can't be in Toronto.
Can't help you.
Yeah.
And now it's like, yeah, we can look around. It's not everywhere, but there is some really good
pockets.
opportunities.
Yeah, totally.
100%. Remember the days of bidding wars? What a crazy, it's not that far off long ago. That was very much the norm. There was no conversation. There wasn't like, you're going to be in a bidding war.
Yeah.
So take advantage while you can.
You know, this is so funny that you bring up bidding wars. I want to bring this up. People are still doing bidding wars, but I think I think the tactic is different, or the mentality going into it is different.
The expectation of the outcome. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to just bring this up because it is still happening in the condo market, even though condos are where they're at. And I think the mentality for a lot of people are, we're just going to get feet through the door. We likely know this isn't going to pan out.
Yeah.
I'm telling the sellers it's likely not going to happen, but at least we can get some people through the door. And I'm saying that because if you're sending me condos and you're seeing a price that almost seems too good to be true, there's a good chance that that's taken place. And it's still you still need to have that conversation with
Great point. And I think what we do really well is we'll educate people on what the market value is. So who cares what this artificial number is, and who cares what their expectation is? We want to kind of land somewhere in this range that shows that it is a good buy.
Yep.
And good point you brought up, because the condo that I'm referring to that we bought for close to $400,000 was set up for a bidding war.
It was a bidding war number, right?
They waited 2 weeks to review offers, which I was like, really?
Yeah.
And I think we got it well below market value, even though we paid over the air quotes list price.
Right.
We still got it for a tremendous price.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's a very key difference too, is whatever number is being put on paper, it's neither here nor there.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's what's the market data and how does this compare? And in this scenario, it was like, this is as good of a deal as if you bought in 2019.
Yes.
Is how far back I kind of put the valuation on
Right.
it. So it's almost like, if you don't buy it, I think I might, because like it made sense. It was a really good opportunity, and there's a lot of them out there. So if you're interested in that, call us. We're going to show you where they are.
Yeah. Go ahead. Where are we?
Let's go prices. Let's just put this nail in the coffin on prices. So for the month of May, new records were set for 2025. However, all decreases compared to the same time last year. So not really much of a change, but detached were almost unchanged, $819 cheaper this year. Semis were down about 5%. Sorry, I mentioned that wrong. Detached were down 5%, semis were down 8.27%, townhomes down 3.37%, and condos down 7.45%.
Right, okay.
Now I'm going to spit a whole other bunch of numbers because context is important.
Yep.
What that translates to and what's it going to cost for you to buy those segments today? Detached house, just over 1.7 million. Semi-detached, 1.3 million. Townhouse, $1.010 million. Condos, $710,000. So yeah, it's down from last year, but it's still 1.7 million for a detached house in Toronto on average.
So I want to point something out that we're talking about this. Townhouses.
Go for it, brother.
I've been saying that I think townhouses are going to take that climb over the $1 million mark in an average price for a while, and they do this weird thing where every once in a while they just kind of fluctuate into the $1 million mark and then come pull right back down. This is 2 months in a row. It's been over $1 million.
It's so funny. When I was putting together this report, I'm like, the Joey effect is happening. And I'll say semis have also seen a nice little bump in spike
up, yeah,
for the same reason.
So I was really focused on the $1 million line, but that 20% down goes all the way up to 1.5 now.
And it's possibly even slightly pulling down the price of a detached house because more people are going for a more affordable. How do I explain this in a good way? They're going for the semis and the townhomes, but they're willing to pay a bit more because the financing has made it more favorable.
Right.
Whereas I had to go to 1.7 for a detached and I'm stretching myself. I'll pay a bit more for a semi if it means I'm at 1.3.
Right.
So it is.
It's making a ton of sense.
Yeah.
And sorry for context. I realize we didn't explain this. If anybody's listening, that's new. The mortgage rules changed very recently.
Yeah.
And what's now allowed. So before, if you bought a house that was above $1 million, you would have to have 20% down in order to qualify.
Yeah.
That's officially changed to 1.5 million. You can put under 20% down for anything under 1.5 million.
Yeah.
So that's the change we're talking about.
Yeah,
for context.
and the impact of it is towns and semis are going up. We got to call it something. Could it be like the Swan effect? The Joey Swan effect?
Yeah, Swan. It is a black. It's a black swan.
But it needs a Joey twist to it.
All right. It's the
Joey the Swan effect.
Okay.
I'll run it through AI. I'll come up with a couple creative. We'll A/B test it, and then we'll solidify it for next episode. We're gonna have that name for you.
Okay, I like it.
Hit us with months of inventory.
Okay, so months of inventory. Again, for those who may be new listeners to this, the way that it works is 1 to 3 months of inventory. Sorry, let me rewind. If we stop,
do you want a sound? Do you want a soundtrack to that? To the rewind?
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Joey.
It's almost like beats we're getting.
I can.
At the end. Okay, so what is months of inventory? Basically, if we stopped adding any new inventory to the MLS today, how long would it take to sell that inventory out? It's measured usually in months. And that's how we take it. So if months of inventory is 1 to 3 months, it means it's a seller's market and prices are going up and it's a tight and difficult market to buy in. 4 to 6 months is a balanced market, which means proper negotiations and just an even keel across the board. And then 6+ months of inventory means it's a buyer's market and prices go down. So I usually do the first to third place in terms of tightest to loosest inventory.
Sounds terrible, but you're absolutely correct. Go for it.
So everybody held their position. Okay. I'll start by saying that. Not much of a surprise in this respect. Semis, number one when it comes to tightest inventory. Usually the case, there's the least amount of transactions with them. There's just a small amount in Toronto in general. So they went from 2.6 months of inventory to 2.7 months of inventory. And
the Joey the Swan effect with the mortgage rates. So probably why it's holding the ground. It's ground quite well.
Totally. Yeah. The runner up goes to townhouses. Townhouses went from 3.6. Believe it or not, they went to 3.5 if we're talking about the Joey Swan effect.
Seller's market. We're joking. Not
a seller's market. But it went down, which means that maybe this mortgage situation is actually making...
That tracks with what we're seeing.
Yeah. Detached held flat.
No change.
4.6 months of inventory to 4.6 months of inventory.
Your detached house is the blue chip stock of Toronto real estate. It's pretty safe.
Yeah.
There's always high demand for it.
100%.
It is the eventual goal that everyone moves up to, is to get that detached house.
Totally. Yeah. It's built for the end user.
Yes.
Last place, condos.
Okay.
So condos took a pretty aggressive bump last month, and they continue to do the same. So they went from 6.8 months of inventory last month to 7.1.
Yeah.
They're well into a buyer's market at this point.
Lots of inventory. And as these projects that are just nearing completion and starting to finish, we're going to see a lot more inventory come up. I don't think we're in the clear by any stretch. So I do anticipate that this buyer's market for condos is going to continue.
Yep.
We might see some fluctuations on how much months of inventory are there, but it's going to take a lot of Thomas B's to buy a lot of condos before we see that correct itself.
Actually, and while we're on this topic, let me bring one more piece into this, because I've also I just want to talk on the rental market for a second.
Please, you've been a machine in the rental market.
It's been very crazy the last little bit, and I've been repping a lot of tenants in this world, and I will say that activity is picking up.
Yes.
So I always bring this up. This is the time where people come back to school. There's usually a school push leading up towards September. And, there was this question mark of, they're capping the amount of students that are allowed in this year. Maybe it's going to be it's still picking up pretty good. It's a softer rental market than usual, but I just want to put it out there that, if you are starting to look, just be aware that it's the moving quickly is still important.
Yeah.
You can't take too much time if you're a renter. If you're a landlord, you still might have to wait a little bit, but there is activity. If you're priced right, people will start coming through the door, and you'll get something fairly quickly.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's a few publications that came out this week stating how, air quotes, desperate landlords were and the incentives they were offering. But in true media fashion, they didn't clarify that those are purpose-built rentals,
right,
not your mom and pop rentals. So don't expect 3 months free rent from a mom and pop.
This is a very good point. There is some good incentives if you were looking for purpose-built rentals.
Yeah.
We took a visit actually this week to Fitzrovia.
Yeah, Sloan,
which
across
is
from Yorkdale.
Yeah, those 3 buildings near Yorkdale. And oh man, they're offering some really cool stuff.
Don't spoil alert. We're gonna do a whole podcast on that.
Okay.
Because that is a beautiful bag of goodies. I sound like Donald Trump. Big beautiful bill. It's a big beautiful building. I love it. It's ping pong. Ping pong. There is ping pong. And I don't know, it's just beautiful building. I loved it. So we're going to do a podcast.
The Mark impressions I will never get bored of.
It's going to be beautiful, people. Tune in. My Trump's gotten a lot better.
You know what? It's actually, there's like little hints of him in there.
Yeah. Tariffs. I love it. Tariffs. It's like a low macho man. Brother. But then you soften it with the Trump twang, and you just, I love it. Jokes aside, we're going to do I want to do a live on location podcast there.
I think it's so necessary. If we were to do that, I would love to do it. Because there's tons to talk about there.
Great incentives, which we're not going to spoil you with. Yeah. And a really cool story to be told. So we're going to try to get in front of you guys there and share some insight.
Love it.
Joey's got some tours coming from there too.
Yeah. There's some stuff in the works right now.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
How do we pivot from there?
Oh man, yeah, because this is a thing. You talked about Blog.to.
Ooh, brother. Blog.to, man. All right. So Adriana S sends me this article and like, she's great. She's always scouring the net for like different stories and stuff and trying to see if there's potential to do a story or a blog post or whatever. She sends me this one, and the topic is imbalance between supply and demand in Toronto's housing market hits all-time record. And I'm like,
classic Blog.to.
I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. I know what it means. It means they want to rank high for SEO content. So they made a really sensationalized headline, as they often do, highly emotionally charged to get your attention.
Yep.
And the one piece that we were discussing about it was she's like, yeah, it seems to be tariffs are what's really holding up this market. And I strongly disagree with that.
Okay.
Because nobody we're talking to is like, well, I don't know about the tariffs. Elbows up. Nobody's talking about that. And Blog.to seems to really hype up this tariff talk as to a reason why people are, no, it's not that. It's confidence for many reasons.
Right.
There's many economic reasons. There's just the general consensus of where rates are going. And yes, to some small degree, tariffs do play.
So I was going to say, I think that's a really good distinction, because it's not, you can't draw the straight line to be like tariffs market bad. It's so much more complex than that.
A lot more moving levers that play into a fact of it. And so I just want to just call out I think, shocking reporting, the ghastly audacity, and the nightmarish concepts that they have in that. These are all words that were used in this article, by the way. I highlighted them because I'm like, really? Ghastly lows? Yes, there's complete opportunity, and they're not wrong. I just don't think that tariffs are the big reason behind it. I think there's a multitude of reasons why, and everyone's situation is different. But ain't nobody worried about tariffs stopping them from buying a condo for $400,000 in Toronto. It's just not happening. Whether that's deciding if you do your bachelor party in Miami, tariffs are probably playing a factor. But buying a condo, I'm not seeing it. Yeah,
fair enough. Actually, in fact, I have a client that's coming from the States, and there's specific reasons for it. Right. So, I mean, if anything, it's bringing people here.
Political climate is a reason, but I don't think tariffs there, it's like we want to get out of this world of the U.S. I believe that as a reason, but I don't think it's, Torontonians here are being hindered by what's going to happen with tariffs.
Yep.
I personally don't see it. And I think the best way to look at it is we are in a transitional phase, not in a tailspin. Mm-hmm. Those are two very different things to think about, and you need to have a strategy for each. So I kind of jotted down some ideas what to do if you're a buyer.
Right.
Okay. Time is on your side. You could take your sweet time, go look at properties. There's a lot to choose from, 30,000 plus. Of course, your market's probably a little bit smaller than the full 30,000, but sellers are more flexible. There's a window to negotiate. You could put in conditions. You could really ensure that you're making the right choice.
Right.
And you didn't have that in years prior.
No. It's a very good luxury to have, to visit a property 2-3 times before you officially pull the trigger on an offer. Yeah.
Beautiful buyers. Take advantage. Sellers, look, the days of listing Friday and selling Monday, very, very, very rarely is that happening. It's some very small amounts, but not common at all for the most part.
Yep.
You are in a crowded market. You have to price smart. You have to stage. You have to pull out all the shots. You have to do what JP was saying, create the websites, take those extra steps to make your property stand out from others.
Yep.
But most importantly, price it right. I'm telling people more and more, no, it's just not going to happen. Don't put yourself through all the stress to try and attempt a number that is way out of control.
Right.
Maybe if you're within 10% of your goal, give it a shot. But if you're like 15 plus, just sit on the sidelines. We don't need any more inventory at the moment.
Right.
So everyone else, whether you're upsizing, downsizing, or simply trying to make sense of it all, the right advice matters. This is where you need to work with a local agent who can tell you which pockets are on fire and which ones present incredible opportunities.
Yep. I like it.
And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button.
The plug. There we go.
Share with your friends.
Yes. Leave the comments. Yeah.
We are wrapping up our blogs, our website, torontolivings.com, with a lot of really good blogs. We're really focused now on doubling down on what we're seeing and really trying to clearly communicate some of these opportunities that are out there for our buyers. So if you haven't visited the Toronto Livings website in a while, now's a great time.
Take a peek, yeah.
Yeah, we're ramping things back up, and we're just really trying to create, in addition to the podcast, a really good source of information of easy to understand and clearly communicated, not in a blog TO's emotionally charged style, more of a like, hey guys, sometimes the market's shit, and we're going to tell you. Sometimes the market's not so shit, and we're going to tell you that too. And sometimes Dave Ramsey might even tell you how the market's doing. Who's your best impersonation?
Oh, God. Oh, I only got De Niro right now.
I think we could do a De Niro. You want to do De Niro versus Trump?
Oh man. I don't speak though when I do De Niro. I just...
What's the matter? Oh, I can't even do Trump when you do that face. Your De Niro is so good. My Trump voice just like cuts out. You win.
Oh man. I got a Ramsey impression.
Yeah.
Stupid. Don't do that. It's stupid. That's my Ramsey impression.
That is, for those who listen to me do a Ramsey, that is how he actually sounds like. I love the callers. Have you got into the podcasts or the YouTubes where people call in with things?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Do best of Dave Ramsey or Dave Ramsey compilation. You're going to be in heaven.
Oh man, yeah, 100%.
So you make $2 million a year. You're asking me about buying the Mustang? Buy yourself the Mustang. Treat yourself. And then you get like these card collectors like, I want to buy Pokemon cards. What are you talking about?
Yeah, 100%. You make $40,000 a year. You want to buy a $50,000 car?
The math doesn't matter. Yeah. Oh, imagine if Judge Judy and Dave Ramsey.
Oh man,
that would be the most no nonsense kid in the world. And probably the great future president of America.
That was them hooking up. I thought you were going to say they were going to argue.
No.
But that was the noise of them actually making a baby.
Judge Ramsey. Helping your financial future.
That's a great place to wrap it up.
When the market sucks, you could turn to us for the laughs. Yeah. That's our tagline for this episode. Any shout outs and salutes?
Yes. Shout out Chris C for Zito's Pizza. Let us know when I'm going to be reaching out to you for the next pop-up, and I'm going to be posting it on my Instagram.
Wait, Chris C is his name?
Yes.
Where did he get Zito's from?
I don't have to clarify that because I don't really know.
That's a really interesting story that we should get to the bottom of.
You met Chris C actually when we were in the East End getting coffee one time.
Come on. Yeah. Beautiful dog.
Yes.
German Shepherd.
Yeah.
If I recall. Beautiful dog.
Yes.
The breed doesn't matter.
Looks-ish, German Shepherd-esque. Yeah.
We saw him. That was when we were at Squirrel Coffee in the East End.
Yeah, that's right.
By Christopher Mulder, Chris M. Love it. Great guy. Likes cold ice plunges.
Yeah,
totally. And we met his partner as well.
Yeah.
Wow. What a memory, eh?
Yeah, I cannot believe how much detail you got out of that.
Oh, yeah. He was wearing a cool hat.
Yeah.
He was. I remember. Stupid things, but I remember them all. Shout out Chris C. and Zito Pizza.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's inquire about a pop-up.
Yes, I'll keep you posted.
Yeah. I'm going to shout out Rob Rossi and all of his incredible creations.
Love it.
Giulietta on College, Julia on Avenue, San Marco. I don't know the exact address. Probably wouldn't get a reso for 3 weeks. Food looks incredible. That's his new steakhouse. So when he had Best Ellen, the steaks that he used to do a tomahawk steak, lights out. Really good. So I could only imagine how good San Marco is. Tomahawk, yeah. One steak, 4 people, you're good.
Yeah, they're huge,
man. Huge, yeah.
Love it.
Shout out Dave Ramsey. Shout out...
Casual shout out to Dave
Judy. Shout out Adriana S. Wishing her
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, yeah. She had a great birthday. We had a really good time.
Love it.
That's all I got.
I think that's it.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
See you next week. Thanks for listening to the Toronto Livings Real Estate Podcast. You could find more information on how we work over at torontolivings.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter to get price reports from over 150 different neighborhoods in the city each and every month.
If you got any value, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you made it this far, thanks for listening.